Coming up, we'll go over the latest unfortunate news for Edge's future and WWE having one of their audience members test positive. Starting off with Edge's future, Edge and Randy Orton put on an all-time great match at Backlash. You can tell WWE went all out to give it a special and unique feel. They had a special introduction, special camera angles, and so much more. There really was so many things implemented into this match to give it that special feel. One of the most talked about things was the fake crowd noise. If you were watching the Edge and Randy Orton match and noticed that the crowd was louder than usual, you weren't alone. Everyone picked up on the unusually loud crowd noise. And that loud crowd wasn't coming from actual people in attendance at the Performance Center. That sound was added in post-production and basically was fake crowd noise. Looked around and noticed that the fake crowd noise was getting some mixed reviews from fans online. Some fans liked the crowd noise and others didn't like it as much. I actually liked the fake crowd noise, especially in this match. It just fit in naturally and it was perfectly edited to go along with the match. So I was surprised that the fake crowd noise actually came out quite nice. You might hear about WWE adding fake crowd noises and think to yourself that it would be a horrible idea, and I definitely would have been thinking the same thing. But in the actual execution of it, I did end up enjoying it, and it made it feel like this match was in front of a WrestleMania-sized crowd. This is something that a lot of sports are doing, even the NBA is considering adding fake crowd noises. So WWE isn't the only company with this idea. But now let's get into what happened with Edge, and it may be a result of WWE's new format. As you know, WWE was going all out to make this the greatest wrestling match ever, just like how they advertised it. WWE actually polled the fans on Twitter and asked if they thought it was the greatest match ever. And out of 20,000 votes, 36% of fans said yes, it was the greatest match ever, and 64% of the fans said no, it wasn't the greatest match ever. However, everyone in the comments of the poll seemed to agree that it might not have been the greatest match of all time, but it definitely was one of the all-time greats. So in the whole process of trying to make it the greatest match ever, WWE just injured Edge for a mighty long time. Now, Edge vs. Randy Orton was by no means an actual live wrestling match. I guess you can call it a cinematic match because it was extremely edited. Reports claim that there were even multiple takes of several spots in the match. If WWE didn't like how a spot came out on camera, they had Edge and Randy Orton do the spot time and time again until they got it perfectly right. However, during one of those retakes, Edge was seriously injured. Edge and Randy Orton went through their full match with no problem. It was during one of the second takes that Edge suffered that devastating injury to his triceps. Edge was scheduled to wrestle a handful of matches for the rest of the year, especially with him playing a big role at SummerSlam. But that's obviously all gone now. The time frame for Edge's injury is 8 months, so you're looking at possibly February 2021 return for him, which is really unfortunate. Of course, everyone heals differently, so if Edge is able to make it back even sooner than the original date, then that would be amazing as well. However, you don't want to rush back and just risk another injury, so Edge has to be careful with that as well. This injury also shows that maybe overworking them to tape things multiple times isn't the best thing to do because you risk big injuries like this to top superstars. It's understandable that WWE was trying their best to live up to the greatest wrestling match ever headline, but in doing so, they just caused Edge another 8 months of his career. Edge already lost 10 years of his career, so another 8 months is pretty devastating. He already lost enough time. Here's to hoping Edge makes another speedy recovery and gets back out there to continue his story. This is a great time to remind you to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. A large amount of our viewers are not even subscribed, so take a second to click that button if you enjoyed the videos. Next up, we have a huge story that is about to bring complete chaos to the WWE if it's not handled right. One WWE superstar has just tested positive. What's more concerning is that the unnamed individual was at the June 9th tapings, meaning that everyone there at these shows were exposed to it. WWE released an official statement, and from their associate medical doctor, Dr. Jeffrey Douglas, who explained the situation with this response. A development talent who was last on site at WWE's training facility on Tuesday, June 9th, has tested positive. Since that time, no other individuals that attended the facility have reported symptoms. However, out of an abundance of caution and to ensure the health and safety of the company's performers and staff, all talent, production crew, and employees on site at the training and production facilities will be tested immediately. Following the test results, WWE plans to proceed with its normal television production schedule. Even though the statement states that WWE plans to proceed with its normal television production schedule, that doesn't seem to be the case. Reports and rumors claim that things are quickly getting a bit out of hand. This week's television tapings were already canceled and delayed by a few days, and the reports claim that a lot of confusion and chaos is going on backstage, and understandably so. This is huge and could be a nightmare for the company. WWE was able to keep their talent free from the illness throughout the main few months of the outbreak, and they said they were cleaning the performance center with a lot of supplies to make sure everyone stays safe. But now, their procedure has been compromised with a confirmed case of someone that was in the crowd. Now, when WWE first introduced these crowds a little over a month ago, it was okay for the most part. WWE mentioned how they were apart and spread out 6 feet from each other. They even had the glass up, which also was a great look. But it just feels like things are getting pretty sloppy lately. Take a look at Raw. That glass is there to keep the audience away from the superstars and just keep everyone safe. But it was a moment with the Street Profits that really stood out with me for a bad reason. On Raw, the Street Profits went behind the glass and went into the audience. They were dancing with the members of the audience, giving them high fives and touching everyone in the crowd, and that's not exactly the safest thing to do right now. Don't know who made the call for the Street Profits to do that, but it's just not safe at all. Hypothetically speaking, what would have happened if that positive audience member would have been right there with the Street Profits, hugging them and high-fiving them in the crowd? That's how this thing could spread like wildfire. We just have no clue who has it or not. So that moment there really made me cringe a bit because the whole point of the glass is to keep everyone separated and away from each other, and you're just gonna go dancing with them behind the glass. Might as well just remove the glass completely in that case. Not so sure about that one right there at all. WWE has said for weeks now that they're testing everyone that enters the Performance Center, so it just brings up the question of how this one slipped by. Maybe they had no symptoms. We don't know the details, but it really makes you wonder. But of course, after a major scare like this, WWE is now taking the extra step to take this really serious. The statement claims that WWE will be testing everyone that was in the building on June 9th immediately. This could cause a world of trouble for WWE. You saw what a few cases did to the NBA. It made them fully shut down for 4 months. If WWE doesn't act on this quick, they may suffer from their own outbreak. So this is definitely some scary stuff. It makes Roman Reigns' decision look even better right now. This is all happening when we were actually making serious progress of having a live crowd back. You might have noticed that WWE tapings this week wasn't only the PC talent. WWE actually had some select, real fans in attendance this week as well. They could be spotted several times throughout the show. These fans weren't legitimately tested, but their temperature was taken and they reportedly filled out a survey of some sort. The temperature checks are somewhat good, but you have to remember that there potentially could be some people out there that are positive for it, but are showing no symptoms. So who knows if these no symptoms individuals are the ones slipping through the cracks? No one really knows for sure, but it's just a guess. These audience members are out there yelling, screaming, cheering, and that's a lot of particles that's being put into the air. So it might not be the safest environment per se. There's just so many rumors going around about this entire situation. These select few fans aren't allowed to wear masks because their job is to be loud and be fans. I guess if they were wearing face masks, their cheering would have been muffled, and that sort of defeats the whole purpose of them being there. That's just another guess for that as well. Another report claims that yes, WWE was testing the superstars every day of the taping, but once again, it was really just temperature checks and not full tests. The superstars will actually be legitimately tested now after the entire situation with the individual that was there on June 9th. It's possible that the superstars were protected because of the glass, So the only really ones at risk would be the individuals that were standing next to the positive person. But then again, if superstars continue to do foolish things like the Street Profits did of going in the crowd, then everyone is going to be at risk. Other reports claim that WWE superstars found out about the positive case at the same time we all did, so that could be something else that frustrates the superstars. It's just really scary times for WWE. All it takes is one positive case like this that could really compromise the whole operation. We know how WWE works. They're going to keep taping and working through this. We just got to hope that they're not at the start of their own breakout within the Performance Center, something that Roman Reigns was fearful of several months ago. What are your thoughts on Edge's injury, as well as the positive case for an audience member? Leave your comments, don't forget to subscribe with notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.